Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you can hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, before we get to the gossip, I just wanted to start off on a good note this time. I usually do my serious stories first, but I don't think I have really too many. I don't think I have much of serious today. So let's start with a success story of sorts, and that would be about the movie Sinners, the vampire movie that came out Easter weekend, 2 weekends ago, to not only critical acclaim, but financial box office success. The fans have been raving 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I did see it on Easter weekend. I told you guys about it on Instagram. You guys wanted me to do a review about it. And I actually was open to doing a review about Sinners. But sometimes, as a reviewer, sometimes, I'm sure you've heard us say this many times, sometimes you just want to see things and enjoy it for your own enjoyment. Sometimes having to look at it at a reviewer's view, from a viewpoint of a reviewer, you don't get to always just sit back and just relax in a story. But I actually would review it. It's just that I feel like that movie deserves somebody that not only picks up on all of the clues and all of the different hidden meanings and the messages and all, but I'm also just not, I don't feel like I am, I don't think that I am well enough versed in the topic to even be talking about like what exactly the message that was all of the messages that were trying to be conveyed there. I mean, these are historical accounts of not only Black people, but the Irish and down south back in pre-Jim Crow era, the 30s, it's just so much stuff that I feel like I would need to be read up on it. I have made it a point to stay away from all of the think pieces and the things, because I just wanted to enjoy the movie for however my mind interpreted it. Yes, that's I just wanted to have that feeling. So no, I won't be reviewing it. But I mean, I can tell you how the movie made me feel. First of all, I enjoy watching Michael B. Jordan. He is turning out to be someone that the Black community can be proud of. It looks like he is going to stay true to his craft and continue to put out great work. And he has this partnership with Ryan Coogler. This is like their 5th movie together. They've done Fruitvale Station. They've done Black Panther. He was in second Black Panther for a hot second. They've done the Creed movies, and now we are here. I think that Michael B. Jordan is somebody that we can be proud of. Ryan Coogler, enjoy him immensely, super proud of him as well. The fact that he continues to stay humble even though he is as awesome as he is. I think that Ryan has that quality of warming the spirits of those that watch him, because you can tell that he has stayed true to himself. You can listen to him and you can tell, you can hear he's so unapologetically West Coast, so unapologetically California. He's from Oakland or up in the Bay Area, and you can hear it when he talks, and then he has a stutter too, which a lot of people on the West Coast, a lot of them do stutter. They talk faster to try to cover the stutter, but you can still hear the stutter. And when I hear Ryan Coogler, it's just like an impromptu visit in my mind back home. What I've really been enjoying the most about Ryan is that he is taking this moment to educate his viewers. a lot of times we go to movies just to enjoy the story, but we don't take into consideration all that goes into making this movie. You know, we take that for granted. I've enjoyed the fact that Ryan has been doing like these, you know, we haven't really seen him. He's slowly comes out from behind the camera, you know, as more and more movies of his come out, we start to see him more and more. But this is the first time that we actually like see him out there talking and teaching, explaining about the different camera lenses, the different techniques that they used when they were filming this movie. The intention was for us to see it in an IMAX type of view, which is, I guess, the scope of it. I'm sure you guys have seen that video that's been going around where he's explaining like the scope, the way that the directors intend for you to see the scope of a movie, you know, and explaining like the widths of the tape of the film, and you know what they do, what these dots mean, like everything. You know, it was very interesting to me, and I found myself watching in different scenes and noticing, but wouldn't have noticed some of the things that he had pointed out had he not said anything, you know. So it was like a learning experience as well. So the scene that comes to mind is, okay, so spoilers, okay, but the scene that does come to mind is when one of the brothers, the cousin, and Delroy Lindo was in the car, and they were driving through the cotton, when they were driving through the cotton fields. We saw it in IMAX. I made it a point to go to see it in IMAX. You're welcome, Ryan Coogler, because them damn tickets was like $30 fucking. I was like, why am I paying $60 to go to the movies? Like, what is happening anyway? Shit, $70. Really, by the time you do tax and Fandango, that shit was like $74. But, you know, well worth the money. I wanted to make sure to do it that way because he specifically said he wanted the audience to try to see it that way. For the first 2 weeks, it was going to be on the IMAX screens. You know, IMAX screens are limited, so they're not going to be on the screens after 2 weeks because Thunderbolts, which opens probably today. Today is Thursday. Oh, child, it is a couple two sisters in front of us. The child, they taking pictures together and everything. They going to lunch together, and they probably ain't seen each other in a long time. Two girls, and they just smiling and laughing and walking in, and that's what you just heard. Anyway, so Thunderbolt is starting today, and so they're going to be moving those centers off of the IMAX screens and putting them just on regular screens, okay? So you'll still get the movie, you'll still get the general, you'll get the full idea of the movie and everything. You just won't get the scope of the way that it was intended, right? But no harm, no foul. Most of the times we only get a smaller version instead of what they. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying. So when they were going through the cotton field, I actually could tell. And then he was also talking about filming techniques. And so I could tell the way he said that he was doing certain things off of like favorite directors of his, different techniques that they had. And I noticed specifically on that scene, not only how big it was, but there was like, you can tell it was like a grainy type of feel. It didn't have the feel of this high-tech digital, which, side note, I'm so tired of like high-tech. Like I'm really okay now with shit to come back down a little lower tech. Okay. Especially as I get older and I can see all my wrinkles and lines and blotches and things not being exactly how I want them to be. It's just like, I don't need shit to be that clear no more. Okay. When I don't have my readers on and I look at the camera, I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah. Then I put them readers on and I'll be like, oh my God. But yeah, I could tell from just when he had pointed out, I could tell when I watched the movie. So those were the good things about it. It was a learning experience. It was also just cinematographic. Like I felt immersed in the movie. Like there were points where I almost felt like I was sitting on the edge of my seat. Okay. Especially during the scene that everybody is talking about, that music scene, which is so awesome. I don't even know how you fathom up a scene like that. Like how you conjure up something like that is one thing, and then trying to bring it into fruition and actually having it come. Like sometimes you can have an idea and actually have it acted out. It don't always seem right. And it seems like you even trying to explain that scene to somebody. Like, okay, we gonna do this and we gonna do this and we gonna do this. You know, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's dope. But damn, that shit sounds really involved. You can tell that scene was very involved. It probably took them a long time to film. But that scene with all of the different generations, the ancestors, all of the different sounds of music when it comes to the Black experience, the community, you know, we as a people, from rapping to twerking to, you know, back before when they were slaves and they didn't have like, you know, formal instruments and, you know, I mean, it was just, that scene was not only amazing, but it was long. It was nice to be able to sit there and enjoy the scene and really see it. Because a lot of times also, probably because those scenes are hard to pull off, those kind of things are hard to pull off, those things usually go by fast. It'll be like, damn, remember that little part in the movie when they did this, that, and the other? Like, they'll do it really fast because it's a lot involved to just the editing of it and putting it all together. But they left that scene long and you were able to just see there. At first, I was confused. I saw the girls like that were twerking and I was like, and I could hear the music. You can hear the music starting to like pick up and it was like boom, 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 boom. Like it was starting to sound like hip hop. And I was like, okay. And you know, Ryan Coogler has used hip hop in his movies before, you know, with this whole context historically of Black, especially in Black Panther and all of those, you know, he used it. So, but when I saw the girls twerking at first, it like threw me off because I was like, okay, we in the 30s. Why are they there? What is going on? But then quickly I was on board. I figured out what was going on and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The story, you know, I've seen people talking about it. You know, we've got your people, Christians, saying you shouldn't see the movie and that it was devil worshiping and all this. It's a vampire movie. So you do with that whatever you feel like you need to do, you know, to figure out if you want to go and see the movie. But it's a classic vampire movie, but from a Black person's lens. Okay. So you still got vampires trying to get to the people. The sun come out, it's going to kill the vampires. You know, you need a wooden stake. You need the sunlight. You need a cross, a crucifix. You need to, you know, through the heart. All of that is still the same, right? But then also adding on all these other different parts of it, the twins, you know, the people. We've got Chinese people that, you know, have never really, we don't very seldomly do we add Chinese people, I don't think ever really, to the discussion when we talk about the 30s and the South, you know, the South back when slaves were still, when all of that stuff was still going on before civil rights came about. You know, we didn't talk about the Chinese really mixing in the South like that. The Irish, you know, so it was just, you guys, the movie was excellent. It was excellent, and it's a movie that I feel like I need to see it again to even really tell you, like to get really into the gist of it. But I don't want to be trying to break it down. It's a movie that I just wanted to enjoy, and that's what I did. I thought that Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan have definitely got that Spike Lee, Denzel, Quentin Tarantino, Samuel Jackson. You know, you have these directors that will but these directors and actors that will fuse together. You know, we also had Jonathan Majors was also on that train. You got to remember, Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan, they was about to be Ace Boone Coons. They probably still besties, but you know, they had to take that shit off the grid, right? But Jonathan Majors also was about to be with Ryan Coogler. I think that we was hoping that Ryan Coogler was going to direct the film, the Marvel movie film. I don't think he was slated to do it, but I think that there was talk at first saying that he would be good to direct that movie that Jonathan Majors was supposed to be doing. Remember, he was supposed to be the y'all know, Quan, what's his name? Hit the Quan, y'all. not Rich Homie Quan, but rest in peace, child. I tell you, good old times. Rich Homie Quan. I still can't believe that young man is dead. But yeah, so it was, I think that Jonathan Majors, originally, they had him was going to be the twin to Michael B. Jordan, although, you know, Butterface, we was not fixing to say they was identical, but I think originally, why do I feel like I heard that it was supposed to be Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors, you know, in this movie and everything. I think that Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan are going to be a good mix, you know, and I think that we're going to see great work from the two of them together and separately, and good for them. I am going to go see the movie again, though, and if you haven't seen it, I hope you have seen it at this point, because, you know, you've just been spoiled quite a bit. I mean, you know, it's, again, classic movie, so you already know what happens, but there's a lot that happens that you probably will not know. Okay, so go see the movie. Go see the movie, you guys. Very, very good. Now I'm gonna give you some stats now that I done gave you my warm and fuzzies on it. But thanks, Ryan. Y'all saw that video. He's like, hey, so this right here, this is what the film was really intended to be seen on. This here is IMAX. I was like, you better say it, Ryan. So the movie made $55.8 million in its initial opening weekend, which was the Easter weekend I told you guys earlier. Then the next weekend, the movie went on to make another $45.7 million. Okay, so I know there was a lot of negative talk, or should I say some backhanded compliments going on from that Variety issue. Everybody was talking about it. Not Ben Affleck. Ben Stiller actually pointed it out and saying that Variety was foul for putting an article out saying, this isn't it, but just loosely, the article was basically saying like, yeah, good for Ryan Coogler, who made $55.8 million this opening weekend, but he still has not made what it cost to make the movie, which was like $96 million or something like that. Okay, it was just sort of like, how do you offer a compliment, but then you still give us the statistics on what has not been achieved in this whole thing? Like, we don't need none of the negative part or the part that still needs to happen. Just give us the part that's good, that's completed, that's happened already, you know? So Ben Stiller was just like, that's fucked up. Y'all didn't need to say all that. It made me feel good that Ben Stiller, being non-black, was the person that actually spoke out, because sometimes it feels like we as black people, we always got to be the ones that, I mean, you know, we always got to be the one who looks out for our community or nobody else will. But, you know, it starts to feel like we be feeling like we victimizing ourselves all the time, you know. So it's good when somebody from another community, sorry, I got to turn this air up aside. Ooh, not that high. From another community, you know, not only notices but says something. So thank you, Ben Stiller, for something like that. Like I told you guys, the movie is moving off of the IMAX screens probably as of today. Thunderbolt comes out. There's 2 movies, I believe, that are going to be hitting those IMAX screens. So because they're limited, you know, they won't have that many. So even though they did not make their money back that first weekend, they have made their money back by the second weekend. So we've already recouped what we cost to make the movie, and that's good. I know there also has been a lot that has been made about the fact that Ryan Coogler's deal has been awesome. He makes his money on the front end instead of on the back end. And there's other parts to this whole deal too. I didn't put that down. Ryan himself told us that that is not nothing special. He said that it happens all the time to many directors. You know, as you get more and more known, you get to be able to write your ticket a little bit more, you know. So that could also be true, but I still feel that Ryan is probably being humble in that sentiment or that statement. It might happen a lot of times for a lot of directors, but what Ryan might be leaving out is it doesn't happen often for black directors. Okay, first of all, you don't even have that many black directors, but then when you start talking about what pay scale black directors get as opposed to, you know, their white counterparts, I'm sure there's a major difference, right? So the fact that he's been able to do that, you know, even though he's saying it's not that big of a deal, that could be him being humble, trying to make sure that he's staying good with his, you know, his director community, and not trying to be putting on airs and having them feel like, oh, Ryan is over here feeling like he doing some shit, you know. But yeah, no, that is awesome that he was able to do that, because the fact of the matter is it don't happen for everybody, okay? And he had to work hard. He's earned it. He's gotten there. So great for him. Like I said, the movie will be on the B screens. It'll still be out there. So if you haven't seen it, or if you feel like you want to see it again like me, then make sure that you get out and go see it again. Support. This is a movie that needs to be supported. The cast, fantastic. Everybody. I was looking at the girl who played Annie, and I was just kept on looking at her, and I was like, what do I know her from? And then I was like, oh, she was on Lovecraft Country. She was in Lovecraft Country. And then that's when I was just like, oh my gosh, 6 Degrees of Separation. You got Lovecraft Country. She was on Lovecraft with Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors used to be homies who are best friends with Michael B. Jordan. Movies with Ryan Coogler and child, 6 Degrees of Separation, right? She's a beautiful girl. I love her. And so is the Haley girl. I think she's beautiful. This whole story of them trying to say that Michael B. Jordan and her are dating and all is funny to me. But yes, excellent movie. Okay? I've been talking for, child, was that my first movie? Is this the first thing that I did? I've been talking about it for 20 minutes, child. Let me wrap it on up. So y'all let me know what you thought about the movie if you already saw it. And again, sorry for the people that are getting spoilers. It's like I tried to give everybody a couple of weeks before I just hopped on the train and started talking about it. So hopefully everybody's already seen it and we can just all enjoy and discuss in the comments. Okay, next story. All right, you guys, this was a story that kind of hurt my heart a little bit. Let me see, is the air blowing in y'all face? Hold on, y'all. Turn this down just a little too high. So what I was saying was, you guys, this story has actually kind of hurt my heart, because, you know, this is a friendship that's been going on. I mean, hell, I am 50 something. I've been listening to Mary J. Blige music, you know, since I was 20. Basically. So I feel like these girls have been friends for 40, 50, some fucking years, like 40 years at least. Okay. And we've been seeing these girls in pictures together. You can tell that they have been through a lot together. And so hearing that Misa Hilton and her management company called Misa Management is suing Mary J. Blige and her company called A Pleasant Life. Oh, I don't remember. It's something like A Pleasant Life. It'll come up because it's in my notes somewhere, but I don't see. A Beautiful Life Productions. That's Mary J. Blige's company. She and her company are named in this lawsuit, and in the lawsuit she says that Mary interfered with a business dealing and breached a contract that Misa pretty much damn near had in place with this rapper named Vado. I guess she hadn't quite sealed the deal quite yet, but she was working on him. According to Misa, Mary knew that. Mary went over there, wined and dined and damn near 69. I'm not saying that I'm just saying that. they didn't get together, y'all, but Mary went over there and she said seduced him, pulled him away from Misa, told him the only way that she was going to be able to work with him was that if he wasn't with Misa, you know, that he needed to leave her and come over here and work with Mary. So that is what he did, apparently. And Misa is salty about it. Okay, and feels like, well, if you was gonna do that when you knew that this contract was already pretty much happening here, then I should be getting a portion of the proceeds of his whatever money he is making. So she wants 20% of the money that he makes. Of course, Vado and Mary and all them, I guess they like, hell no. So now we got to head to court. They said that they have been trying to reach out and settle this amicably with Mary and her Beautiful Life Productions people. And Mary has cut them off. She said that they said that Mary does not talk to Misa anymore. And that is unfortunate. Like, I feel like, you remember in Scandal? Remember in Scandal when, or maybe it was How to Get Away with Murder, but I remember either Shonda Rhimes wrote this, basically saying that sometimes the shit can be wrong. It could be some illegal shit going on, a whole lot of bad shit going on. People can suspect that bad shit is going on, but if they don't have proof, if there's no way that they can put this story together, it could be a whole bunch of like weird little things happening. But as long as they can't connect all those dots to get the stories together, then it don't matter. Okay? Don't let that shit get you off your game, so don't worry about it. It be stories that be out there that in some kind of way might have a little bit to do with, like, you know, Puffy got something to do with it somewhere back in the background, but you can't never figure out how you can link all these stories together. I feel like Mary and Misa's issues, a lot of it might also stem from the Puffy situation. Okay? It's always forever going to be the Puffy situation now, because I feel like Mary probably is like, my name is coming up too often. Like, with all this stuff that was going on with Puffy, we were seeing Misa. Remember, Misa was saying she had a book coming out and she was starting to talk, and then she was starting to sound like she was kind of taken up for Puffy a little bit. Not necessarily for Puffy, but definitely for the boys. And, you know, like, I think that Mary probably was like, my name is coming up a little too much, too often with Puffy and all of his ill, you know, all of his ill doings. And she does not want that. So instead, what Mary has done is, I'm going to cut every fucking body off, and you ain't going to be able to say, but that ain't how it works. Because even though you cut everybody off, you not changing the past. And so people still remember that you had a very close relationship with not only Misa, but also with Puffy and all that. So I feel like it might also have something to do with all of that. The fact that Mary has just cut Misa off totally is probably way more to this story, right? But we talking about Vado. Now, and while we talking about Vado, can you guys please tell me exactly who this young gentleman might be? Okay, is he worth all this? Okay, is it like, is he that talented? That, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. You have a person, they are both very active in that hip-hop space, right? Misa is very well respected out there, well-known stylist, and she's active. She, you know, does a lot in that community, right? But when you have Mary J. Blige, who is a singer, not only a singer, but a legendary singer who is going to be in the Hall of Fame at some point, because I don't think Mary is in there yet, but she's going to be in there. And Mary, you know, like, of course, if I'm a rapper, I'm going to be trying to hook myself up with somebody that is going to be able to more quickly put me in the place that I want to be. Misa probably could have got him there as well. Maybe Mary could get him there faster, you know, so maybe he had to make a business decision. Okay, but yeah, y'all let me know. But what really hurts my heart more is that this is a friendship that is getting like the side effects of all that shit possibly with what happened with Puffy, that it's affecting. Remember, I was telling you at the beginning of this is a lot of people gonna get affected. A lot of people in a lot of ways, not necessarily just there's some shit that they did illegal, but people that were friendships and relationships and all that all gets affected. That court case starts on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, okay, same day as Met Gala and Tina Knowles' thing, but that's coming up May 5th, and we're going to be hearing these names probably more and more. So Mary probably was just like, I need to, you know, like, all this, I need to cut back, pull back and everything. But yeah, something tells me that as that case gets on the road good, we gonna probably hear Mary and Misa's name a little bit more, and maybe Mary was already like, I need to try to distance myself from all of this mess as much as I can. But this lawsuit has gotten caught up in the midst of it. Okay. But yeah, so let's see. Did I hit all the points I wanted to hit? I did. Yeah. Let me know what you know about Vado. And if you know Mary and Misa, get the girls together. Let's have some drinks and settle this issue real quick. I was like, Roxanne, are you gonna try to branch off in this story, knowing that you don't know football all that well? I mean, you don't know shit about football. Y'all know that. I tell you all the time. But of course, I've definitely got to talk about this story. This NFL draft, Shedeur Sanders, all that whole fiasco last weekend had Mr. Itsrox in a tizzy at the house last weekend. Y'all know Mr. is a conspiracy theorist, right? And so this fed all into his whole conspiracy theorist heart. And because I don't really know much about football, like, so that's why I have to sit down with the Roxstars and y'all have to explain to me whether Mr. is going on and on, or if there's really something to this story. So you guys already know what happened. Shedeur was the NFL draft opened last Friday. Shedeur was expected to be pulled in on the first round. Was not pulled in on the first round. Okay, was not pulled in on the second round, the third round, or the fourth round. We finally got him on the fifth round. Okay, and but it only took that first round for everybody to realize that the NFL was pretty much staging a coup right there, and that they was putting their foot down, and they were making a point not to sign Shedeur Sanders. And so I was wondering if that was because, you know, the NFL had issues with Deion Sanders. Does the NFL have issues with Shedeur Sanders? You know, it's always so much that surrounds the Sanders family, the boys, you know, the father and the sons, because of the football. Deion Sanders has always been a larger-than-life personality. He's rubbed the NFL people the wrong way for years and years, but he continues to be successful. And that's what has upset a lot of the owners and shit in the NFL. And so my whole question to Mr. was, well, did he not get pulled in because the NFL has a problem with the father? So is this like the sins of the father, paying for the sins of the father kind of thing? Is Shedeur actually an asshole himself? You know, and do they have like a point? Are they just, you know, so I was like, what's going on here? You know, like I told you, even though Mr. was like, well, you know, it's probably a mixture of the two. That's what I was coming up with. But I was like, let me just go on and do a little read up on it, you know, research. Like, if Roxanne, you need to do your research. Well, I did a little research, and even though, you know, you ain't really have to do much to try to figure out this story, you know. So I'm reading up on the shit, trying to figure out if, you know, they was treating Shedeur bad. I'm reading about a $350,000 watch that he wore to the, in the interviews with the owners. Apparently, you go and you meet with the owners. You open yourself up to meet with certain teams, I guess, that might be interested in you. He met with like 9 teams or whatever. He had on this like $350,000 watch. This Louis Vuitton bag is full of money, you know. They were saying that he was more so interviewing the teams instead of vice versa, you know. So like they're saying that he blew his interviews, basically. He was there, he was asking them like what they was going to do to support him, even though he didn't really do well to sell himself, you know. So like to the owners, it was kind of making it seem like he was, this is what the articles that I was reading, they was making it seem like he was already presuming that he was going to be doing all of this. It was just like, what you mean, what we doing to support you, nigga? What can you bring to our team, you know, to do? So I'm reading this and I'm like, so we talking about a $350,000 watch and his Louis Vuitton bag with money in it and everything. I mean, does that keep you from, does that say that you're not humble and that keeps you from being picked? Well, I mean, I guess it just sort of depends. You know, when you have like these millionaires and they see these kids come in there and they want them to be hungry and they want them to be, you know, like, coach, I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm open. You're gonna be able to coach me. I'm gonna be able to listen and take directions, and I'm gonna bring this and glory to the team and all that. Then you got a kid coming in there and they looking like, you know, they driving in the same fucking car that you have. They live in the same neighborhood that you live in and already, you know, and then they happen to be black too. And we know we know the history of the NFL. And also it was just sort of like, Oh, so now you guys really have a problem with the fact that this black boy has already had a pretty privileged life. He don't need this. He still wants to be there, but he don't need this like a lot of these other kids might need it, you know? And so now are you guys trying to teach him a lesson? Like, why are you trying to teach this boy a lesson? Has he done anything? The game is football. Let's play. Put the nigga on the team so we can do this, right? But now you're talking about feelings, and now you're talking about, so then I'm reading this, and so then I'm starting to feel like, oh no, they do have a problem with the fact that this kid is already successful and he don't need him, but he would like to be there, but you know, he can take it or leave it kind of thing. But then I also am reading about him, not, you know, his character, the personality not necessarily being one that everybody loves. But what I'm saying is, I think that it's a little bit of both. Like, he hasn't done anything. He should be able to play the game. He's been playing the game all this time. You guys need him. Somebody do it. I mean, I know the draft, usually the very worst team gets the best, you know, the number one pick. So, you know, it ranked that way. So, of course, that very first draft, them people in that first draft, somebody in there needed that quarterback, you know? So it was like, well, why he ain't got swept up in there somewhere? So, yeah, y'all just have to let me know what you think about all that. Them people just mad about Deion Sanders. Anyway, you guys, he ends up getting pulled into the Cleveland Browns, who everybody, from what I understand, is not the best team. They don't even need a quarterback. I think they said that they had already drafted a quarterback, so he was a second quarterback draft. I've seen people saying, oh no, this is just a case where they're just getting these people at a lower amount, then they're going to do like a big trade with some other teams, you know, later on down the line. And, you know, he'll probably be traded in that trade and it'll be more money and all this. I've seen all of the different things. I am glad that the boy will be playing in the NFL. The other one also got picked up, not in the draft, but he was signed on afterwards. I don't know what they call that, but he was signed on. He gonna be down in Florida somewhere. What did they say that boy got put on? Is there a team in Fort Lauderdale? No, huh? It's a team. Anyway, both of his boys, Deion Sanders, even though it came with controversy, I mean, it wouldn't be right if it didn't, okay? I mean, this is Deion Sanders. There's always been controversy, so of course it should follow his boys as well, but we got the boys in place. They gonna be in the NFL. Now it's time to just show and prove, give all the naysayers, do all of the things that you need to do, prove yourselves, and then we won't even, you know, then you'll have a story, a testimony. Okay, like they say about Tom Brady. Apparently, Tom Brady didn't get pulled in until he was on the 6th round of the draft back when he did. And Tom Brady, I think most people will tell you, is the best quarterback to ever do it. Okay, so yeah, everybody's in place, and now let's play the game. Hopefully, you know, they treat him well, and he can stay healthy, and he can play the game and all that shit. But you guys, let me know who is at fault here. Is it a little bit of I am going to say it's both sides probably, but who has the majority of the fault? Because, you know, this kid at the end of the day, you want to play football. Let the boy play. Y'all tell me what it is and we going to move on from there. Oh, shit. Well, I've been pontificating, bitch. I got to cut this video at this. Had 3 stories. Was it 3? 2 or 3? I guess it's 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to cut it on this one. And then the next video, next Top of the Blogs, we'll pick up some more rumors. Okay? We do this every single week. So make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you come back. Until next time, Roxstars.